Well, I think it's very important. I'll come back to your question in terms of seeing what governments and politics have to do. But let me just say before that, what is really important is that each of the different actors, each of the different agents, have to review their own way and understanding of what's going on. One of the big problems that we have is when we hear the business people talking about the problems or the solutions for the future, normally they define the agenda for governments. But it's very strange to identify that they are doing their own agenda. It's supposed that business is doing all the things that have to do. All the homework is done, and of course not. Governments normally say to others, you have to change, you have to innovate, you have to be global, you have to go abroad, you have to make whatever. But you say, well, what are you going to do as a government itself? And what is going to do the society and each of us as individuals, what we have to do in all these things. Saying that and saying that there's a convergence of different agendas that have to be put together. The other thing is coming back to governments. Of course, as you mentioned, one of the big important problems is the organization and governance of governments today are prepared for the economy of the 18th or 19th century. Are prepared for another type of economy, are not prepared and organized for today's economy, because we still have the same departments, the same structure, the same different way of understanding and leading the companies that were related with all. An industry that has been constrained to manufacturing or to agriculture or fisheries or whatever, or health, and only has one responsible in the government, and everything is organized there as a silo work. This is not how the economy works. As a company, normally, you are involved in a lot of different organizations and departments. You have to be working together and be in relationship with different government levels, from municipalities to the G20 or whatever, or the superstructures in which you have to go. But at the same time, you have to be involved with a lot of different departments. The one that is related with your main, I can say, traditional industry, but also the one that regulates you. And regulation is not about only your industry, but a lot of different things. You have to be related with environmental issues and department. You have to be related with education, with training, with labor. We have to be involved with a lot of different things. And that makes a very huge, important thing to do. And governments still have the same way of trying to be involved and just waiting for you or doing whatever. And this is a very big mistake. If you really think that what we were talking about, you need strategies, different strategies for the economy and the companies and the governments. That means that you need aspirations in a different way. You need to be differentiated from others and to provide a unique value proposition. You need long-term to implement, to do, and to work for that. You need a lot of different partners to be involved in that strategy. You need very different talent and people to run it and to manage it and to work with that. So all these things, and at the same time, you have to understand that you have to be part of a new cluster way of providing different things in which the value chain has changed. Your value chain is not inside your company or inside your country, is along the world in a very different ways, and you have to work with that. That makes a very complex and very different way of understanding this. And at the same time, you have to be in a cluster-based economy that makes a different way of doing things. And finally, if you do all these things, you have to see that you need to share value processes in which you have to be involved directly with society, with governments, and with other companies. So it's a mistake to say that doing business, providing solutions to the economy is easy. and that this is a way just that everybody can do it, just going out and saying I do it because I'm receiving a grant or a subsidy from a government. This has to be a convergence of a lot of different agents and different strategies trying to share some elements that can drive your new movement. So this is a kind of movement in which we have to be involved, and in Innovating Lab what we try to do is a very small work in terms of being your partner, being the one in which you can find contrast about what you're doing, in trying to work together to provide new, different solutions and work into transformation. First of all, the mindset. Afterwards, doing in a practical way everything.